And good afternoon, everyone, from the lobby of Bruner Motors on the corner of the South Loop and Lillian Street in Stephenville. Make sure you stop by. Plenty of free food courtesy of Slotsky's, refreshments, and Tarleton athletic giveaways later in the half hours. Remember, it's Slotsky's today, all day today. Get a small original sandwich, chips, and a 20-ounce drink for only $5. The Coach Lon Reisman Radio Show is sponsored by Bruner Motors, so we thank them for their support in making the show possible. Coach, welcome back. Congratulations on 2 big road wins over the past week.
They were 2 great road wins, Casey. There's no doubt about it. Cameron was a tough place to go in and play, and they just play so well at home. And then I really big road win at Angelo State. They were 10-1 at home, really playing well, and very, very talented basketball team. I told you at the beginning of the week, I think there's a lot of people thought we were going to go into Angelo and get beat, except for us, and we had prepared very hard, and we knew it was going to be a type of game that sometimes you think can springboard you into the next 2 weeks, and I'm hoping that that's what it did for us.
Let's get things kicked off by recapping each of those games. We'll start with the game on Saturday night in Lawton as the then number 2 ranked Texans at 18-1 look to rebound from their first loss of the season in Midwestern. At the half, Coach, you trailed by 1, and did it feel like the performance from the Midwestern game carried over a bit?
It could have. They came out and really played well. I thought they came out and had a little bit more energy than we had, Casey, and we went back into halftime. We talked about it, and it's a different environment up there when you go over the Red River. It's a smaller gym, and they're comfortable there. I thought they had one of their better crowds up there in the afternoon, and we've struggled up there. We lost there a year ago up there at the buzzer. We've always had very, very close games at Cameron, and our kids just hung in there. Just when you think that we're going to be out of it, we hung in there and fought back, and it's been something, our kids have done that all year long, and even if we're not playing well, they found a way to stay close.
And frankly, a lot of folks have struggled up there. They're 37-10 since 2010 in Aggie Gym.
They have a good home court, and they're always tough to beat there. You and I've seen a lot of games there, and to get out of there with a W after such an emotional Wednesday at home against Midwestern was something that we needed to do, and I'm glad we did it.
One of the big differences I thought between Midwestern and the Cameron game was Tayshawn Mabry didn't get in foul trouble. He had 22 points and got to the line 13 times. How big of a difference did that make?
No doubt he was big in the game. He was huge in that game. We needed him to win that ball game because I didn't play very many minutes against Midwestern. Got in foul trouble so fast, and Tayshawn has the ability to be a game changer when he's on, and he's ready to really focus in, and when he does that, he's a difference maker.
You then head to overtime for the 2nd consecutive game, and let's talk about before you went to overtime. It's tied at 63, 9 seconds to go. You have a chance to win it at the end of regulation. Did you think you had a good look both times?
Yeah, I did. I thought we had, a good look there. Then I thought, the Mo had a great offensive rebound and about a 6 or 7 footer that just went in and out, and thought we had 2 good looks at it. And you start, you right there, you want to keep your kids' confidence up because, right there you can kind of look back and say, well, we did the same thing on Wednesday night. They didn't go down, but our kids hung tough and, won a real emotional overtime game.
With 53 seconds to go in overtime, you're down by 1, and then DeAndre Upchurch hit a big 3-pointer. Coach, he scored 64 points in the past 3 games. Talk about Upchurch.
He's been shooting the ball real well. He has the green light, and I thought Chuck, we've been penetrating in there, and we found him, and he has a lot of confidence in shooting the basketball. I don't care if he misses 3 or 4 in a row. He thinks he's going to make the next 10. And a great shooter always feels like that, Casey. A great shooter always feels like he's going to make the next 10 or he's going to make the next shot. And he never backs away. And if the shot's there, he's going to take it.
The Aggies would get the ball with 2.8 seconds remaining in overtime. They trailed by 1. After what happened at Cameron last year, what was your feeling when Will Cook's shot missed? Not to bring it back up.
I've lost a lot of games. I've lost a half-court shot game at Midwest. At Cameron before, years and years and years ago, and a 3-pointer. It's not over till it's over in Cameron Gym. There's no doubt about that. And 2 seconds seems like an eternity sometimes.
With the 75-74 overtime win at Cameron, the Tarleton Texans improved to 19-1 on the season, 8-1 in the Lone Star Conference. Coach Reisman's squad would drop 2 spots in this week's top 25 poll to number 4 in the nation, and you'd hit the road for the 2nd consecutive game to take on a 16-5 Angelo State team. And Coach, I thought right out of the gate your team looked different than it had in the previous 2 games.
Well, we stressed that as a staff. There's no doubt about we talked about it in our before we left to go to Angelo in our shooting around. We talked about it during our pregame, and I really don't want to we mentioned that more than once, and I thought we came out with a lot more urgency. They had a big crowd there. They wanted to beat us very badly, and I thought, I mean, we had to come. We couldn't. This is a game we had to come out and we had to make. We had to take the first hit.
The Texans would go on to pick up a big 72-64 road win. Coach, you talked about the big crowd, 3,000 folks there at the Janelle Center,
yep.
One of the largest crowds in their history. And what I thought was impressive about the win is you did it on the road against a team that, at least I think, could make the NCAA tournament.
Oh, I think they're one of the most talented teams in the Lone Star Conference this year, Casey. Definitely the most improved team in the Lone Star Conference, no doubt about that, and probably have one of the premier players in the Lone Star Conference. And then you have your crowd behind you. You have you're well coached, and you have everything going for you. It was going to be a big, significant game for us on the road that night to see if we can play in an environment like that. And we've been in environments like that where we're on the road. We've been attracting big crowds on the road, and they want to see our team play. And it seems like everybody has some type of marketing or some type of promotional thing every time we go to a facility, wide out or whatever. Yeah. So because the Tarleton Texans are coming to town, and it almost seems like they're having their biggest game of the year when we come there. And that's good for our kids playing that environment.
I got heckled for the first time ever in a game. I just went to the bathroom at halftime, and the fans were yelling at me, "Get back on your side, Tarleton." I said, "Hey, I'm just the radio guy. Easy now." Now, you talked about Kenny Williams, no doubt a great player, but in the 2 games you faced him, he's 13 of 35 from the field, 1 of 13 from the arc. Where do you credit that defensive performance?
Well, our kids. First of all, our team has been. They know where he's. They know where he's located. By Coach Chris has done a great job of preparing our kids and actually knowing their most comfortable areas that they take their shots in, and knowing their offenses and knowing where he's comfortable and where he's most productive, and we put a certain player on him, but I think we made a team effort to make sure we locate where he's at and keep him off the backboards. And I thought that we had a really good team concept of playing against him the other night.
You were very concerned going into that game with Coach Beard's team's ability to score in transition, so much so you held them to 4 fast break points.
Yeah, and they had been, in the last little tape, they had been pushing the ball down the floor and getting in transition. In fact, they scored a lot of transition points when the first time we played them here, and I thought that's something we concentrated on, and really did a good job of getting back and taking away some of their easy baskets. And another thing that I thought that we did that really put them in an uncomfortable situation at times is that we ended up pressing them a lot the whole night because we wanted them to work the ball down the floor and and get in their offense with 24 or 25 seconds to go and try to make them not take away some of that motion game that they do a good job with. So we try to, anytime we play a game, we try to put a team, can we get them in an uncomfortable situation, something they just don't feel comfortable with, and I thought some of our game planning was very, very good.
You were 52% from the charity stripe. Going back to the past 2 games, 9 of 39 from the 3-point line. Is this just one of those shooting slumps the team gets in?
Well, I hope it is. I hope we're out of it pretty quick, because I thought we had some really good looks early in the game. Now, I mean, really, and those are shots we've been making that we've been able to open up a lead with in games, because we had some very good looks, very good look shots in opening the game. They didn't go down. Our kids didn't panic, and we finally started hitting some shots and getting the ball to the basket a little bit more.
With the 72-64 win in Angelo State, Tarleton improves to 21 overall, 9-1 in the conference, and they retain their 1-game lead over Midwestern State in the race for the Lone Star Conference Championship. When we return in 1 minute, Associate Head Coach Chris Reisman will join Coach and I as we talk about Lon Reisman's historic 550th win at Tarleton. This is Tarleton Texan basketball on the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network. 2 seconds, 1 second, that's going to do it. The head coach of the Texans, Lon Reisman, is now the 26th head coach in Division II history with 550 career wins. Tarleton has their 15th 20-win season in Reisman's 26 years at the helm of this program. And that was the call, folks, on Wednesday night from St. Angelo as head coach Lon Reisman won his 550th career win at Tarleton. And we're going to have a little fun in this segment. We're going to call it our 550 segment. Just want to let you know, every car out on the front porch here at Bruner's is priced at $550 a month today. So go see Kyle Masters, Greg Bruner, and the gang, and you can get one of these new cars and feel like a winner, like Coach Reisman. Right now, I want to welcome into the show the 12th year associate head coach, Chris Reisman. Chris, I know you're busy preparing for tomorrow night's game, so I appreciate a few minutes of your time.
No problem, Casey. I like to come to this whenever I've been able to, but this year we've changed up our practice routine a little bit, so I try to listen to it whenever I can, but also trying to get ready for the next game.
Now, with the win against Angelo State, Lon Reisman gets that 550th career win at Tarleton, becoming the 26th head coach in Division II history, 83rd overall if you count Division I. Now, Coach Reisman, what does that mean to you to be in that elite group of coaching greats?
Well, Casey, it's like we talked. It's nice to be into that group, but there's so many more people that are responsible for you being in that group, and it's not just a personal honor to be there. It's an honor that's accumulated over the years by all the assistants and all the players and people like that are here today, the community that have supported you through the years to make this what it is today.
Coach Chris, by my count as a player and coach, you've been a part of 356 of those 550 wins. What makes this relationship between you and Coach so special?
Just the closeness of the staff. We have such a different relationship than a lot of assistant coaches, obviously, and head coaches. I mean, this is a situation where every day we're both passionate about what we do, but at the same time, as an employee, you never want to let your boss down. But think about working with your father every day. I mean, you really don't want to let your father down as well. And I guess the difference for me in this situation is I was a part of this for a very long time, and as an assistant coach, it's so easy to sell Tarleton because it's something that I grew up supporting, but also put a lot of hard, sweat and effort and tears into it. And at the same time, now I'm promoting something, and I've helped build something that is very special to me, and so it makes it very special, Casey. And to do that alongside my father has just been a phenomenal feeling, and one that I hope will continue to work and get in more wins.
Coach Reisman, the other night in the post-game show, you told me that Coach Chris had prolonged your career. How responsible is he for the success of this program?
No, he's very much responsible for it, Casey. I mean, he has prolonged it. He's, Chris is not a yes person, which is what I needed to hear. I mean, there's some times we get behind closed doors, and we have a difference of opinion. But I know the opinion he's giving me is what I need to hear sometimes. And he's changed some things, and I'm old school, he's new school, and I want to do things.
His phone was old school up until about a week ago.
I want to do things that you did 30 years ago, and he'll say, Coach, this is not 30 years ago. This is 2014, and so he's changed my thinking some, Casey, and I've needed that, because if I hadn't have changed with the game, I probably wouldn't be successful today. And I know why he's changing it. He's loyal to me. He has some views that are different today and challenging, and I've had the confidence to give him that ability to change some things, and we've worked real well together.
Chris, isn't that what makes him such a great coach, is that he keeps an open mind and has the ability to want to change?
No doubt, and I think it's got a little more open as he's gotten a little bit older, to be honest with you.
He's relaxed a little bit too, hasn't he?
But you got to give him credit. When he came in here and Tarleton was in the situation it was, he knew what he had to do to get Tarleton on the right path, and he came in here with no previous assistants, with no previous players, and it was just him, and he did a remarkable job turning it around. He had to do it the only way he knew how, and that was his way. And then over the years, people started buying into that, and all I knew was the way that he coached. All I knew was the way that he recruited and prepared for games, and that was something that I accepted early on. He calls me new school, but there's quite a few of my players as well that would probably think that I give them a pretty good butt chewing as well. I'm not new school in that sense. I think my ideas may be new school, but the way that I work, the way that I prepare, and the way that I demand things are pretty old school, and that's something that I'm blessed to have got from my father.
How old were you when you started going to Tarleton games?
Oh my goodness! Well, I remember going into practices before kindergarten. I remember them setting me up a mat in the corner of the gym, and had a few toys, and I don't think they could keep me in the corner. And so
similar to Rush.
Very similar to Rush. It was fun. It was exciting. I remember going to my first basketball camp before. I think I was 4 years too young to go, but they always just kept letting me come, and that was something that Coach Reisman was great about. My father was great about letting me stay around it.
Did you get to meet Dennis Rodman at any of those camps? Because I always hear that he was on campus.
I met Dennis Rodman plenty of times. I rode on Dennis Rodman's shoulders when I was younger. Even when he made it to the NBA and came back to Tarleton, I remember Dennis Rodman talking to me and giving me autographs and having that relationship, somewhat of a relationship with him. He knew who I was. Obviously, I was very young, but it was a long time ago, but it was obviously neat.
Coach Reisman, in 1988, when you came to Tarleton, this really was a place where dreams came to die on the basketball court. 198 wins, 498 losses. Was that part of the challenge, why you wanted to come here to turn this program around?
Well, Casey, I actually came here the first time as a courtesy to Dr. Ron Newsom, was a guy that I knew a long time at Southeast Oklahoma, and so he asked me to come down and just visit. And when I got here, I met Dr. Gillespie, great man, but the guy that I really met that really irritated me was Dr. Barry B. Thompson.
Imagine that.
And, you know, he took me up in his office and shut the door. And, you know, usually at an interview, they're pretty nice to you, you know, and everything. And Dr. Thompson looked at me and kind of said, you know, hey, you got a pretty good record and all this. But he said, you know, it'd take a guy with a lot of guts to take this job. Boy, that bothered me. Because I said, well, I got enough guts to take...
Dr. T said that?
Yeah, I got enough guts to take this job. I guarantee you that. And if I do, I'll turn this thing around. And he said, well, we'll see. You know that. So I thought about that all the way home, riding all the way home. And Dr. Gillespie called and said, Lon, are you going to take the job? I said, yeah, I'm going to take the job. Just tell him I have enough guts to turn this around.
Oh, Dr. T, bless his heart.
Yeah,
he was out in West Texas.
He was a motivator now. I'm going to tell you, he was a motivator and he was a great man. And he just knew how to talk to people and make them... You know, I really, what a great leader he was.
Is that how you interview people for jobs?
Yeah.
Luckily, my job interview went that way.
Dr. T was a great one. He got me stimulated, and it became not just it wasn't just a little interview. It became a job, and I was excited about coming back here.
Coach, on behalf of the Brunner Auto family and the Tarleton Athletic Department, we'd like to present you with this cake, recognizing your 550th career win at Tarleton. Wow. And give Coach a hand, folks. And the best part about it, Chris, is we can eat it. So, want to thank the Walmart Bakery, by the way, this morning that had, I think Mr. Brunner said they had an hour-and-a-half turnaround on that cake. So, we really appreciate everyone over at Walmart. Coach Chris, I'll give you the last word.
Well, I want to thank everybody that's showing up today. One reason this has been so special over the years is Coach Reeves has been able to count on so many of you, and it's just been a great honor to have such a great community support, great friends. I can't tell you how many times Coach gets text messages after big games, and now even sometimes I'll get the text message as well, and we just really appreciate everything that everybody has done. It's made Tarleton special. It's one reason that I've turned down jobs to stay here. I know it's one reason he's turned down jobs to stay here, because you just don't have this type of feeling of family. You don't have this type of backing. I'm so proud of my father. I mean, 550 wins. You go through all these stats, and I think they get lost. You know, you're talking about he's one of 83 coaches ever to have 550 wins. That just blows my mind. You're talking NCAA history. Basketball's been around for over 100 plus years, and only 83 coaches have had over 550 career wins. That's unbelievable to me, and I think people get lost in that number. He's one of 23 active coaches. He has just made me the man that I am today, the father I am today. I'm so blessed to work with him, and I just want to tell you that on behalf of all your former players, your friends, your family, we're so proud of you, and thank you.
Well, perhaps one of the other members of that elite club, North Carolina head coach Roy Williams, said it best. Lon Reisman's an outstanding person and coach. He's the type of individual you'd like your son to play for. And when Roy Williams says that about you, it's the real deal.
You better listen.
Back in 1 minute on the Coach Lon Reisman Radio Show. This is the Tarleton Athletic Radio Network. The Coach Lon Reisman Radio Show, live from the lobby of Brunner Motors in Stephenville, the corner of the South Loop and Lillian Street. I want to thank Slotsky's for providing today's food. Remember, 2 mini bonds for $1.99 at Slotsky's all day long today. You can get a small original sandwich, chips, and a 20-ounce drink for only $5. And let's get this segment kicked off quickly, going over the standings in the conference. Tarleton State in first place in the Lone Star Conference with 9 wins and 1 loss. In second place, Midwestern State, 1 game behind. Then there's a 2-way tie for third place in the conference between 6-4 Angelo State and 6-4 Eastern New Mexico. Then there's a logjam when you look at the tie for 5th place in the conference. 3-3-7 teams in Texas A&M Commerce, Cameron, and Texas A&M Kingsville. And boy, we're not used to seeing this. West Texas A&M in 8th place in the conference with 2 wins and 8 losses. Time now to preview the 2 games on the schedule this week for the number 4 ranked team in the nation. And Coach, after 2 very rough, very tough road games, it must be nice to know you're coming home for 2 straight.
It's always nice to come home to Wisdom, Jim, Casey, but we also know that, you know, it's never a sure thing in this league. You know, Texas A&M Kingsville went into Angelo State and won at Angelo State. Now, if that doesn't get your attention, you know, it better get your attention. They won last night. You know, they're still fighting for position in the conference tournament. They're log jammed down there, and they have, you know, right now they have a chance to keep moving up. They have enough games. They could actually get fourth place if they needed to. Sure. And so they're playing for a lot there, and Pete does a great job. I've always respected his ability as a coach. I've always respected him as a person, and I respect their team. And you know, it's going to be a very tough game.
You talked about that log jam for 5th place, 3 teams at 3-7. back on January 11th. I think your first road game of the year. You beat Kingsville 103-84. And I was looking at the stat sheet this morning, and I guess what stuck out to me was that's just a game where you shot lights out.
We shot the ball well down there, and you know, it was a tough time of the year. Their students weren't back yet. You know, it's a tough time of the year to have a home game, and we realized how fortunate we were to get out of there with a W, with a win, and have a lot of respect for their team, Casey. And you can see that they're playing better right now, and you know, we're going to have to play very well tomorrow night.
Rashad Basie, the second leading scorer in the conference, averaging 17 points per game. But Coach, if you look at the stat sheet, they have 4 guys that average over 9 per game, so it's not just Basie.
No, Basie's an outstanding player, but then they have a guy, you know, they have 3 people in double figures. They have one that's just barely out of double figures. So they you know, they're a team that, you know, that has enough depth that they can give you problems.
Now, the Javelina's biggest weakness is rebounding, a league worst, negative 5.2 rebounding margin. Is that an area you hope to exploit at home?
Well, you know, we need to exploit that in every game, Casey. There's something that we need to continue to improve on is our rebounding. We've had one thing that has bothered us this year. It's been the rebounding factor. And we did a better job at Angela rebounding on Wednesday night, and that's something that we're concentrating on, and we're mentioning in it, and it's something that if we're going to continue to win and try to advance, then we're going to have to, you know, we're going to have to really compete on the backboard. It's the Texans and Javelinas at 7:05 tomorrow night. It'll be the first live television game from Wisdom Gym history. We'll talk about that in our next segment. Then on Wednesday night, Coach, you play your final home Lone Star Conference game against the 10-12 West Texas team at 8 o'clock. The Buffalo's really struggling as of late, 2-8 in the conference. Any idea why a team this talented is struggling? Well, Casey, I know, and they've been in some turmoil this year. Don't get me wrong. Vinay's been put in a very tough spot. You know, you lose a Hall of Fame coach like Rick Cooper. It takes time to recover from that. And Vinay has done a good job. They've lost a lot of close games. They've won some big games this year on the road. And you know, I mean, they're a very capable team of beating you if you're not prepared and you're ready to play. There's no doubt about it. They went over Midwestern the other night, and I think you and I were looking at that, and that was a pretty competitive
close game. Yeah, they only lost by 11.
Yeah, and so, you know, they have a lot of capabilities, and anytime we've talked, anytime you take a team for granted in this conference, you're probably going to come home with a loss, because any team in this conference can beat anybody.
And you talk about how dangerous West Texas is, and I know talent is just talent, but when you look at their stat sheet, Coach, they've got 4 or 5 guys that average in double figures. They might have the most talented starting 5.
They have a very talented starting 5, and they're very dangerous. You know, we have a lot of respect for them, Casey. They have got very good players, and you know, I don't even want to think about them before tomorrow night, because there will be a lot of preparation and getting ready to play that last game at home and as a conference game.
It's the Texans and the Buffaloes at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night from Wisdom Gym. Make sure you come out. The Texan game will tip off at 6 at senior night for the Tarleton Texans. And I just got to mention, you got one of your former players here that helped you get a few wins, Warren Webb.
Sure did. He was a 4-year player for me and did a tremendous job. And a guy that, you know, that you just love to have in the gym every day because of the energy he always brought every day.
Warren, we'll talk to you on the radio tomorrow night. No screaming this year if Carter gets a big slam on. When Coach and I return in 1 minute, we'll wrap up this 6th edition of the Coach Lon Leisman Radio Show. This is the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network.